You know what? He does have this one record that I gave to M. I made it for M. I took this Dave Chappelle interview and made a beat out of it. And it's really, only a person like Kendrick or M can pull it off. Or, you know, it's got to be somebody in that, Jay-Z or anybody like that. And that's one of my favorite beats I ever made, ever. And I know Kendrick had it. First, I played it for him, but at this time he was already at the end of this new album. He was at the end of it. And then I told him, I was like, yo, I gave it to Kendrick. He was like, what? He's like, man, that beat is crazy. Like, he just couldn't find where it fit at that time because he was already at the end of the album. You know, like going through the 11th hour thing. It's got to be the right beat sometimes. And, you know, that happens a lot of times. Like, I might make a beat this year that might not pop until after. I think all of my friends go through that. Because I heard some shit that Siege was playing, and I was like, you know what? People ain't gonna get this sometimes, and they ain't gonna get it right now. But then they're gonna surprise the shit out of them because then they get it later. Khalil the same way. Like, all at Focus, everybody, we got the same kind of problems. But I think them was all the like Dre's kids. Like, we came up under a guy that was like always looking for the next thing, so he made his team of like producers we're all crazy, but we're very next level-ish. We're always thinking about the next thing. We're not impressed by something, so we don't even bother to try it. It's like, I gotta jump over this river. All right, great. Let me jump over it, but let me try to jump over this ocean. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if Kendrick used that record, but if he did a song to it, I will see that little nigga in a minute, and I'm going to ask him for his song because I know only him or him or somebody like that could pull it off. The beat was it's a story, and it's a very personal thing. It's a very because Dave Chappelle is a very deep individual. First of all, I had to filter out a lot of it was a lot of reverb around him. And I had to find the right, I wanted to use a sample, which is even harder because it wasn't just playing chords over some shit he was saying. I had to find the right sample. I made the hook first. And I had the hook for about a month. So I was taking the little pieces and I made the backdrop. It was almost like, so I had to look at it like a movie. All right, let me take this sample and layer this part of it. But then I used the sample the way it was at first. And I was like, nah, so I chopped it up, tuned it down, then retuned it back up. And it's almost like resampling something, right? So I tuned it down, resampled it, then tuned it back up. And it just sounded like he was talking something. It made it even more dramatic. So then I made the beat like a month later. I took the same thing and just took pieces of it and made the beat out of it. So that was the verse. So it breaks down. It's not like you rapping over it's really literally Dave Chappelle talking with a backdrop. So it wasn't like I put the sample after I had the beat. It was like, nah, I started off with taking the pieces I liked to the interview, then finding the sample, pitching it, and making it do whatever. And like, people don't care. You know, they don't know nothing about that. So then when they hear it, it's like, oh yeah, you just put Dave Chappelle up. Like, nah, that ain't how it went. And I had it for a couple of months before I actually played it. And then Kendrick came to Detroit. And I gave him this joint called Love Affair, and I gave him that one, and maybe a couple other beats, but those two stood out the most, Love Affair and the Dave Chappelle joint.